What's up, guys? Welcome to Daily Dose of Reddit. This is your host, who really wants you to listen to the Time Warp cover done by Tenacious D. It's so good! Zach, and today's subreddit is r/IDoWorkHereLady. Listen to it. Really, it's so good. This story's called, When You're Told You Aren't the Security Guard by Someone Claiming They Are Instead. This is a little on the long side. Here's the cast. There's me, the digital magpie. The other guard, Dave, who's the mall general manager, not his real name. Police officer. So I'm a mall guard. I'm the one who bans you when you get caught shoplifting and tells you that no, you can't ride mountain bikes in the mall. Yes, this happened, and that's a whole other bizarre story, if anyone is interested. I actually have a lot of stories, both scary, funny, and whatever. This happened about a week ago. I was pulling a 17-hour shift that included the overnight. The mall is guarded 24/7. About 11 p.m., I was doing a patrol around the inside of the building. We had some workmen doing maintenance work and in one of the food court restaurants, and I had to keep an eye on them as well as my usual rounds. Walking into the food court, I was waved over by the night janitor. There were 2 cops with them. The only way in at that point was through a back entrance we had left open for the workmen. We've had some ongoing issues with the local department, and I was somewhat annoyed to see them just coming in again without trying to contact security first, but whatever. Police officer asked me about a silver truck with a light on the top, like a security truck, driving around the property. They knew it wasn't one of the security trucks, which are white. They also have large decals on the side that are hard to miss. I had no clue what they were talking about. I hadn't been outside in the last hour, so as soon as they left, I immediately double-checked that the mall was secure. It's an important part of my job to make sure no unauthorized vehicles or individuals are in the mall parking lot overnight, so after that, I headed out. I found the truck quickly. I'd have to call it dark gray rather than silver, but whatever. When I got up to the truck, there was a company name I'd never heard of. The name underneath that I assumed was the name of the guard himself, and a phone number. I won't give any more details than that for obvious reasons. However, the security company was one I had never heard of and was in no way associated with the mall. I asked him if I could help him, and the other guard just lobbed the exact same question back at me. I informed him that I was mall security, that he was on private property, and I needed him to leave. Other guard told me that he, in fact, was security, which was a bit confusing to say the least. I again identified myself as mall security and informed the man that if he didn't leave the premises, I would call the police. Other guard responded, insisting that he was going to call the police and have me removed from the property for trespassing. At no time did he identify himself or give any reason for his presence on the property beyond insisting that he was security. He was extremely annoyed by my questioning and became increasingly combative and aggressive in his tone. He did not, however, at any time exit his vehicle, and I kept well back for obvious reasons. I'll pause here to say that I am a female and on the short side. People generally judge me as being in my late 20s, although I'm a good bit older. This guy was a large man who I put in his late 30s or early 40s. So while he didn't exactly say, "Run along, little girl, and leave security to men," it was heavily implied by his tone and attitude. Ladies, you know what I'm talking about. So I called the police. It was about midnight at this point, but procedure is procedure. As soon as I got off the phone with dispatch, I had to call first my direct boss and then the general manager to inform them of the situation. Neither of them knew why some guy from another security company would be there. The general manager, who we'll call Dave for the purposes of this narrative, said he wanted the guy off the property. Other guards shouted something I couldn't understand at me while I was on the phone with Dave, though the tone was aggressive. Dave could hear him yelling over the phone and said to stay well back. I agreed entirely. By the time I got off the phone, other guard had rolled his window up again and appeared to be on the phone himself. Police officer called me at this point. He asked if this was about the truck they had told me about. When I confirmed this, he told me that they had, and I quote, caught up to the driver and that he had claimed to be a private security hired by one of our anchor stores to watch it overnight. I called Dave with the information and also texted him the number on the truck. Calling the company, Dave was told that the store had indeed hired private security without getting permission or even bothering to inform us. Before I go further, yes, the store in question rents their individual space. If they had hired a guard to be within that space, I would have nothing to say to it, and neither would the mall. This isn't the case. In fact, the guard they hired isn't allowed inside their store. store. He was hired to watch it from outside, on property that is the mall's, not the store's. Individual stores are not permitted to use mall property beyond their rented space without prior authorization. It's in their contracts. After speaking to the company, Dave called me back. He said that the whole thing would need to be sorted out in the morning, but for that night, the guard could stay. However, it was on sufferance, and he was to remain in his vehicle at all times, and to stay only in the parking lot directly by the store, not driving around the whole mall parking lot like the cops had seen him doing. I attempted to relay these instructions to the other guard. Although he did briefly roll his window down again, he continued to refuse to listen to anything I said. When I tried to speak to him, he talked right over me very loudly, saying he just talked to his boss and everything's fine, so I was to again run along. He seemed to like that phrase. I tried to insist that I needed him to listen to me, but he objected, saying that he didn't have to listen to anything I said. When I tried again, he just started talking even louder to drown me out, saying he didn't have to listen to me. Then he rolled up his window again and refused, point blank, to acknowledge my presence. In the end, I had to call a police officer back and ask them to inform the guy of Dave's instructions. In the morning, there was a huge hullabaloo about it. I don't know all the details, but the store manager had a long meeting with Dave. Also, a formal complaint was issued with the company in regards to their guy. A couple of days later, I was asked by someone higher up in their company to go through exactly what happened with her. Afterwards, she apologized profusely, and we have been told that the guard in question would be dealt with, whatever that means. We never saw that guard again. I'm writing this on my dinner break, and as I type, some other guard is currently sitting out the parking lot watching the store. I'll be honest with you though, I honestly don't think other guard ever actually believed that I was security. It was chilly, it being October, so I'd thrown on a hoodie over my uniform. Still, when someone says their security involves the mall general manager and the police because you are trespassing, they might just be who they say they are. Okay, this whole scenario is pretty funny. I mean, it's really sad because, like, the guy's an idiot, but it's also really funny because it's like, I'm security, what are you doing here? No, I'm security, what are you doing here? I'm not at the beach, this is a bathtub. This story's called The Ranger Said! I got tons of stories of working for state parks, and this is a classic. So, we are 3 weeks into a fire ban. There's a massive forest fire going on across the state. You'd assume. Of course not. Tourists have the reading comprehension of someone who drinks Break Clean for that tingly taste. So, I work with 2 rangers. One is from a foreign country, the other is native. So, when someone bullcraps me about what the ranger said, I know it's not gonna be true. I enter the campground. Both bosses are out, but they have me on fire patrol, and immediately, fresh smoke fills my nose. I come upon this site. RV half-ass parked, older lady with 2 yap dogs, and a husband who nurses beers. Hello, campers. I'm here to inform you that we have a fire ban in place. Please put your fire out. The lady puts her dog down. No, the ranger said it was fine. I look at her confused because both rangers are not only not okay with fires, but the native ones freaking hate reservation lands on fire, and he was adamant. No fires. Here's the other thing. The fire ban is based off what the county fire marshals say, and they say, no flamey boys. So, which ranger was it? I asked. I tend to confirm these things to be safe. He was a tall white man. There's no ranger that works here who looks like that. Also, fire ban is by county fire marshals' discretion, not ours. And the fire ban is statewide. Please put out the fire. She gets mad. Well, the ranger on the coast said. Miss, this isn't the coast. Please put the fire out. Furthermore, they're on a fire ban as well. I'm trying to save you a ticket. She tells me to buzz off. You're just a toilet scrubber. Okay, game on, Bjork. Talked to the ranger who was in charge of our park, and he was on a day off. He he was not happy about what was going on with this camper. So he got his uniform on, walked up.
Hi, my employee asked you to put this fire out.
The camper looked at him. No one came by, he said.
Well, if you're lying, this is a $5,000 fine and 5 years jail time. On top of that, I'll have to summon DNR to put this out, which is an additional $5,000 fine.
She went flush, realizing I was saving her $10,000 and jail time. Come to think of it, an employee kinda came by and said something. We'll put it out right now. Boss goes back in his truck, went back to the station to drop everything off, told me what happened, did the attaboy bits, and went back to his day off. Next day, we got a nasty gram from her, where she wrote this very long, angry letter of how I'm stupid, lazy, fat, filthy, overpaid, and even insisted that the park stop hiring mentally disabled people. Now, I have autism, but you really wouldn't know unless you've been around me, but that kinda hurt. She got banned from all the parks after this. Basically, ranger runs your plates and you get a fine for trespassing. Edit. I am not a park ranger, I was a park aide. Think characters from regular show. Oh damn, a throwback.
Muscle man, usually so obscene, but now you're following your dreams. Just don't become a drama queen. Modeling, we are modeling. Hamboni.
This story's called Karen Shouts and Threatens to Drag Me Off a Locomotive. This was a very long time ago now, a good few years. I used to work on a narrow gauge steam railway local to me. I was training up to become a fireman, a stoker if you're American, I think. So I was technically a trainee cleaner at the time. It's complicated, but had a few footplate trips to learn the ropes on how to fire each locomotive, as no two engines behave the same, even if they are the same exact type of locomotive. So the driver hopped off the footplate as we weren't due out for another 20 minutes, leaving me and the fireman on the loco chatting about different firing techniques. When the injector, the special bit of kit that uses steam to force water into the boiler, started making some very loud noises that it's not supposed to make, the fireman hopped out of the cab to have a look at what was going on, grabbed a hammer, adjustable spanner, and started tinkering away. Now, I was wearing full cover overalls and a flat cap, but due to the heat of the summer, I had unzipped the top half of my overalls so my t-shirt was visible. It was about 30 degrees Celsius outside, which is hot for England. Also, bear in mind that I'm literally stood next to a raging coal fire as well. I can't see the water level in the gauge glasses, so I open and shut the gauge valve quickly so I can see the water bounce around in the glass to see where the level is.
What are you doing, Vat? Get down from there.
Sorry, miss?
You shouldn't be up there. Passengers are allowed on the engines. I should drag you off there myself.
Miss? I work here. I'm a trainee, you clever bastard. I'm supposed to be here.
No, you don't. You're only saying that so you could stay up there. Get down right now.
She goes to grab me by the arm. Don't touch me.
Hey, Nathan, could you pass me that kind of magic stuff, please?
Magic stuff is a nickname for a special blend of lubrication oil that many railways use as a general lube oil. I pass the can to him.
Oh,
Karen walks off. I dare say that the fireman could hear everything that was going on. He didn't need oil to make the injector work, and there's no moving parts near the cab that would need oiling. So I'm pretty sure he only said what he did to politely shut the Karen up. So is that like intentional? I'm a trainee. That's just their could be apprentice, could be anything, but he goes by trainee. I love it. This story's called I Am 25, Not 15. When I was 25, I had a job at an intermediate high school, 9th and 10th grade students, as the administrative assistant in the counseling office. A few times a week, I would fill in at the main office to cover lunch breaks or help during busy times. On this particular day, the phones were going crazy and several parents and students were waiting at the front counter. I finished a call and moved on to the counter to start helping. How can I help you?
Oh, are you a student? Never mind. I'll wait until Mrs. Older's secretary is available.
I said okay and began helping others. It was easily 5 minutes before the other secretary was available to help this parent, so she just waited. Apparently, she was oblivious to the fact that I was answering everyone else's questions with ease, was wearing a staff lanyard and name badge, and also wearing a wedding ring. I might look young, but those should be dead giveaways that I'm not a 14 to 15-year-old student in this particular school. Mrs. Older's secretary asks what she needs.
I need this specific form for my students. How do I do that? Oh, Mrs. Younger secretary here does all of those. She can help you.
Parent turns bright red and just stares at me. Then had the nerve to say to Mrs. Older secretary,
Are you sure you can't help me?
"No, ma'am. I'm the only person authorized to do that form. If you don't mind waiting for another 10 minutes, I can go back to my office and get it for you." 15 years later, that woman still gives me dirty looks when she sees me out in the community. I'm still not sure why. I was perfectly polite even when she thought I didn't work there. What? Dude, that's some crap that would happen to me. Just some people just don't like me. I don't know why. Like, I won't even talk. Like, my dad's friend, I went to his house. I had never met this guy before. Okay. And I was trying to say hi and shake his hand, but he was like pissed off at me. I had no idea who this guy was. It was funny. This story's called, "Oh, You're the Owner's Sister?" Wow! My long-lost sister. Can you believe it, guys? So about 3 or 4 years ago, I started a business, and we're still expanding. We have a pretty good jolly amount of people working for us. Our office is right next to the front desk, and our open hours are 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. This will be important later. So one day about a year ago, I was working late and was on my computer. The doors were left unlocked because I was just finishing up some tasks and had to head to my mom's house immediately after that. Guess who comes waltzing in? Yes, that is correct, the Karen. Now, since it is past closing time, almost 9:45 p.m., the front desk is not there. Karen immediately starts yelling drastically for the front desk. "Front desk! I need a pass!" I get up to go and confront her. Hey ma'am, we're closed and— "No, you're not! Do you even work here?" "Yes, ma'am. I'm actually the owner." "You're lying! If you were the owner, you would know what the hours of the store were." Karen then pulls a face like she just saw a ghost. Did you break in here? I'm calling the police." Karen takes out her phone and starts jamming 911 into the keypad. Halfway, she stops, anticipating an "I give up" response from me. "No, I'm the actual owner. You see, No, you are lying because I'm the sister of the owner of this place. I can easily call her." I shrug and give her a business card, and she furiously dials in the number. I will never know if she actually called the police. They never came, so I'm assuming she didn't. When Karen dials the number on the business card, the phone rings, and Karen just gives me this smug look like, "Haha, now they're gonna back me up." Instead, I gleefully watch her face turn white as my phone rings. I pick it up and say, "Hello, how may I help you on this fine day?" Karen doesn't do anything for 1 second, completely paralyzed. Then she hangs up and does this fast walking shuffle thing out the door. Poor old lady. What did she expect to happen? Okay, so what if someone answered the phone? Someone else answered the phone. She's just be like, hey, pretend to my sister, so that I don't know what I want. I'm just crazy, stupid, and I think through. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to never miss an episode.